Yo, so welcome to the first episode. Not really the first episode. This is more of like a trial run. So, welcome to Black Men Don't Vent. This is something that's been in the works for a good while, Jay. We've talked about this for a couple years. It's led up to this moment, so I'm super excited to just see where this podcast takes us, man. It's going to be some interesting topics that come up in the upcoming episodes. It's going to be some highs and some lows, some emotional points, but I'm really excited to be able to connect with, our future followers and fans and just everybody out there, anybody who feels like they don't have a space to vent in. We want to make sure that people understand that this is the space that we're creating for them. So, I just want to start by asking you, bro, how's your spirit today?
Spirit's doing pretty decent, man. Just going with the vibes. But you know what I want to talk about. You know what we here for.
So we're gonna jump into that right out the gate. Just right out the gate.
Hey, hey, we've been dropping hints. We gotta get into it.
I don't know if this is a topic that they're ready to hear, man. This is I don't know if this is something I want to vent
Hey,
about
we
or I
gotta start
feel
off with a
vindicated
bang.
about. Man, fuck it, man. Let's get into it. Let's just get into it.
So, tell the people and me. I'm still wondering. You told me the story. I still don't understand. How
How
the
you not understand
hell
a
did you
story,
get
bro?
blocked by Miss B Nasty? Miss B Nasty. Her name is B Nasty.
Man,
Uh,
listen, bro. I honestly don't know how that happened. I just I tweeted. I saw something. I saw a video. I kind of got excited. I hit respond. I posted a message, and within I would say 10 seconds, it was like Miss B Nasty has replied to you, and I opened up the message, and that shit was in all caps, blocked. I was like, damn.
okay.
I
At
don't
least she let you know you were blocked. You could have just been like on Twitter or X, just scrolling like, I haven't seen no Miss B Nasty. It's Tuesday. What's going on? So
not
at
on
least
a
you knew you were
not on a
blocked.
Tuesday, bro. Like,
You got
man,
blocked on
it's
a Tuesday?
I don't know what day it was, man. All I know is when I saw blocked in all caps, man, it was just something in my spirit broke, bro. I was like, damn, how I get blocked by Miss B Nasty, bro. Miss B Nasty, bro. How I get blocked by her. Miss B Nasty, if you're watching this,
You
I'm
must
sorry.
Mr. B Nasty.
Um, Mr. B Nasty, that's
He said he
that's
too
wild, bro.
nasty.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. That's wild. Nah, man.
That's the name of the episode, Mr. B Nasty.
I feel like I ain't gonna live that down,
Uh,
bro. Between you and the homies, bro. Like, I don't feel like I'm gonna ever live that down, bro. That's like, and I've had some wild shit happen in my life, bro. But I feel like that's like top three. That's definitely top three with all this shit I've been through, bro. Getting blocked by Miss B
so there's
Nasty is.
two things above that.
I'd probably put that at number two. Out of my top three,
Number
definitely number
two.
two. Definitely
Okay.
number two.
Okay.
We're gonna
So
have to
eventually
save.
we got to get number
We're
one.
gonna have to save like this going off list of crazy shit, like top three things. We're gonna have to save that, bro. That's gonna be a long ass
Hey,
episode,
number
bro. We're
one got
gonna
to
listen.
we got to put number one behind the paywall.
Exactly.
You got to subscribe to Patreon to get number one.
Fam, if I'm telling you that number two is me being blocked by Miss B Nasty, you know number one got to be fucking insane. You know that shit got to be crazy,
I don't even
bro.
think I know what number one is.
Listen, I'm a I'm gonna paint a picture for you. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but I'm gonna paint a picture for you. All right. All I'm gonna say is just think Arizona. Think Ari-
Mm.
think Arizona.
Say less. Say less.
Just think
Now it's hot
Arizona,
and
bro.
nasty.
Listen, bro. Yeah, I got some wild shit off in Arizona, bro, and that's gonna be, bro. That's a whole nother episode, fam. We gotta let that one marinate, bro, because that one, yeah, it definitely trumps getting blocked by Miss B Nasty, bro. But let's try to segue out of that because I don't, I don't want Miss Nasty
No,
seeing
no, no.
this.
We ain't. Hey, not episode one. Not chapter one. We got
Well,
some time. We're gonna get
this is
into
the
that though. I'm not gonna
preface.
forget.
This would be the preface to us actually segueing into like official episodes. This is just more of just really kind of introducing ourselves and letting people know who we are and why we thought this this route was the best choice. Why doing a podcast called Black Men Don't Vent, and then kind of understanding, why. Like, what's the why, bro? Like, we've been in some conversations. You and I have been friends for 10 plus years, and we went through more so on me, and we had that conversation. That's what led to the podcast coming about. I took like a 2 year hiatus, or close to a 2 year hiatus, just to go through some man shit and grow. But even prior to that, all the conversations we've kind of been in, we've kind of witnessed, you and I specifically, we've witnessed each other's kind of, trials and tribulations in our relationships. You were like one of the main people that I'd vent to. But you're also the same motherfucker who used to see me wild the fuck out too. So it's like you the homie
Hey
that's
man,
like,
I was Ray Charles. I ain't see nothing.
instead of talking sense into me, you was Ray Charles for real. Like I was doing some wild shit, but at the end of the day, it was like you always knew how to separate like watching me wild the fuck out, but honing me back in. Like despite all that, bro, like you're just like, bro, you got to get your shit together, bro. Like if this is what you want to do it. But if it's not, bro, like speak up. You have to say something. So I think just over the past 10 plus years that we've known each other, you've really kind of, in my opinion, kind of one of the main kind of focus points of why the podcast even exists now is you were one of the first people with, I would say, within our crew who kind of made talking about this shit normal, right? Like we would always post memes, all these other things, but like when it came to like conversations about what the fuck we was going through, whether it was just some man shit, being black, our relationships, bro, you were like one of the one of the priority members in the group who was just like not afraid to just be like, yo, like I'm pissed off and this is why, right? And watching that, and then you being younger than me too, like seeing that for me was like big. Like damn, like if the homie's younger than me and he can express himself this way, why the fuck am I at my big ass age not able to do the same thing, right? So starting to watch and feeling more safe in that space with the homies, being able to talk and vent out feelings. Y'all gonna laugh, right? Like we always fuck with each other in the group when somebody was venting off some shit. We always had some shit to say, right? But I think at the end of the day, we got the message, which is why when the responses came in, the real responses, I think when the real responses came in, they were deep. Because it was like, yeah, we gonna fuck around, but I hear you, right? And you don't see that a lot with a lot of black men and the groups that they run in, where they feel that comfortable understanding that like, yo, I woke up emotional as fuck this morning, right? And I know once I hop in my group chat, I'm gonna say some shit. I know I'm gonna get laughed at, not in the way of making me feel like I'm a bitch because I'm venting. It's just the homie's way of warming up to the conversation, right? And being ready to hear me, to have a response, but hearing me to hear me, but also to have that response that they know is it's gonna drive the point home, right? So you gonna take the shit talk in between, but you know that there's a message coming, you know.
Yeah, nah, man. Like I appreciate that. Yeah, like for black men, for men in general, we gotta have someone to talk to. We gotta have these type of safe spaces. A lot of times it's like you said, it's jokey joke, this, that, but it's like, hey, let's get real for a moment. And even then, when you are getting real, yeah, we're gonna joke, it's gonna be funny, But then, like you said, it's gonna be a message to it. Like we're gonna laugh about it. Yeah, like yo, that's wow. You got blocked by Miss Be Nasty. But like, what did you say? All right, bro. Like maybe you shouldn't be saying this. You know.
We
Uh,
what we ain't gonna
but
do on this moment on this recording is we not gonna go into details about what I said. You know what I said though, because I told you. But we ain't finna get into that. Let's save that.
hey, what I say behind the paywall.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put
But
that shit behind a paywall. She probably still has like she'd have to go way back in time though to like pull that shit up. But that was some fam. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking that day, bro. I felt bold as hell. I don't know what I was thinking, bro. I I don't know. I
hey, you woke
can't.
up as him.
I, bro, I don't know what it was, but something was like, say this. As soon as I said that shit, bro, 10 seconds, blocked, done. Get the fuck out of here. Like, damn.
It says say less.
Yeah, bro. But
But
what a lot of people don't know about us either, bro, is that we're both dads, right? I'm a father to three beautiful children. Grayson being my oldest, Chloe being my middle child, my baby girl, and Noah being my baby boy. 9 turning 10 in another month and a half, and my baby girl just turned 7. Baby boy's turning 4. I know you got a daughter, Bailey. Talk to me about when you knew you was about to be a dad, bro. What did that feel like? Like what did that moment feel like when you got that text or that phone call?
it was fear. We had lived together, so it was one of those. I was there. Yeah, it was fear. What? I was 20 years old, in school, playing football, junior college. I just came back from a Division II school, moved out here. We had a place. And yeah, it was just like, all right, you gotta, quit ball, leave school, get a job. You gotta figure things out. And like for me, it's like I'm the type of guy in anything. It's like, all right, I'm gonna just make a way. Like
Right.
odds stacked against me, whatever the case is. It's like you just gotta figure it out. Like, all right, you got responsibility. You gotta do what you gotta do. Um, I wanted to try to do the right thing. I wanted to try to, marry her because we're having a kid. My dad had different baby mamas, and coming from the hood, that's what it is. But for me, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do that. One kid, or like not one woman with the kid, and tried for a year, didn't get married or anything, but it just wasn't meant to be. And then I realized, okay, it's gonna be more damage to the kid if I stay in this relationship with everything going on, as opposed if we went separate ways and tried to do it together. Now with that, with separate ways, she doesn't want to do it together. I've been trying, but that's just part of it, man. Child support and vindictive mother of children.
We'll jump into that too.
I don't want to say
That's a conversation that I know we gotta like really, really like kind of dig into the meat and potatoes of that. But I want to get into when I got
episode
that.
3.
Yeah. Episode 3 titled Child Support. Why these bitches want our money? I'm playing. But yeah, man, when I got that call, bro, I was actually at work. I was married, so my situation was a little different. We conceived Grayson year 2 into the relationship. We weren't married yet. We were still just together, but you know, him him being born definitely changed or re-centered my concentration. Not a lot of people know this except for the people who are super, super close in my life. You know, I lost my firstborn, so Grayson's technically my second child, but in reality, you know, because it's been years. You know, I lost my daughter in 2006, so it took a long time to want to have kids again. So when I look at Grayson, bro, it is like seeing like my firstborn like all over again, like my first son. My firstborn was a girl, but Grayson being my firstborn son, man, that like getting the news that she was pregnant, it was like thinking about all the years that I contemplated not having kids again after dealing with that, not understanding like how to grieve. I was crashing out left and right, bro. I was just, all the relationships I was getting into past that point really didn't have purpose to it, because I was grieving, but I was picking and choosing how I grieved, right? And I didn't know how to open up and cry, right? Like my parents are still married, and I'm fortunate enough to say that. I know a lot of people are not. My parents are still happily married, just celebrated 43 years earlier this month. So I didn't have that emotional connection with my dad early on. Like me and my dad, I kind of feel like me and my pops started getting close like maybe like 5 years ago. And I'm 41, bro. So like 5 years ago, I kind of feel like
Damn.
the closeness, yeah, like I kind of feel like the closeness really started then. But growing up, we didn't have that emotional bond. And as I got older and started figuring out why, like, damn, like I didn't know my pops didn't really know his dad. His dad died when he was 4. You know, I'm thinking about Noah. Noah's about to be 4. Like, imagine if Noah lost me at 4. Like that shit started to make sense to me. Like, I get it. But I promised myself, you know, if I ever had kids again, that I wanted to make sure that that was a generational curse that I broke. Like, I never saw my pops cry. I never got hugs from my pops. The only time I saw him cry was when his mom died. That was it. Only time in my life that I've ever seen him cry was his mom's funeral. That was it. So for me, growing up, I didn't have, like, my mother's dad was the emotional outlet that I had. And then when I lost him, it was kind of like I didn't have anywhere to turn. So I knew as I got older, and then having a son and understanding that it was a boy, I feel like I had a choice. I had hit like a fork in the road. Like seeing the ultrasound and her saying like it's a boy, I feel like everything froze. It was like, shit, like I got a choice right now. Like, do I continue to harbor the shit that I feel like I held against my pops for so long, that took me going to therapy to really kind of get over it, to get through it, to understand why he was the way he was, and why it really generally like wasn't his fault, because the times is different. You know, nowadays we can have open conversations about going to therapy and venting and confiding and sharing how we feel to a degree as black men, right? But back then, in my youth and my teenage years, that really wasn't a conversation that was ever in my household. Therapy was, I never heard the word therapy until I was 20. I never heard the word therapy. That just wasn't something that we talked about, right? So I didn't know that these resources were even there, right? So when I had Grayson, it was like, damn, like I gotta make a choice. Do I show him the emotions and attention that I wish I got, or do I raise him to just keep his chin up, don't cry, be a man, all these different things, right? And the day he came out, bro, was the day I truly feel like I made that choice. I'm gonna hug this boy, I'm gonna kiss on him, hug him, love him, tell him that I love him. I was gonna be super vulnerable with him. And I think it was one of the best decisions that I ever made, was making the choice to break that generational curse, because the bond that it allowed me and my son to develop, him feeling safe with me, was so important. And seeing that in his eyes, bro, like, this kid can't function without me. Like, I can see in him that I'm a heartbeat in his life, right? And then when my daughter came, when Coco came, it was like I felt soft again. It's like, damn, I'm having another daughter. I really gotta change, like, my perception of like how I deal with women. And at the time, my wife, right? Like, I'm married, but not really. I feel like even still then, bro, I was like making excuses. I was using past experiences to justify my thought process, and I allowed that to kind of control my marriage in a sense, which led to a lot of those crash out moments that you even witnessed, right? Like you were present for a lot of the conversations, right? And sometimes present physically to feel the tension in the room, like to just know, like we ain't me and this woman ain't on the same page right now, right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but
Allegedly.
then transitioning out of that marriage and then just into the kinship relationship with like Noah's mom, bro, like in our past, right? Because I knew her before I even knew my now ex-wife. Like I knew her before, right? So like us coming back full circle and then giving birth to Noah and then understanding how even how sensitive he was, just my children have definitely made me more comfortable with like just being emotional, like crying. And when I look at my kids, bro, like I don't hold back. Like I wish, and I mean, circumstances are what they are, and I feel like maybe I had to grow up the way I grew up because it made me the man that I am now. True, like I can appreciate that, right? Like, but at the same time, it's like I look at my kids, like man, like it would have been nice to get that, like I love you, from my pops, the hugs, you know what I'm saying? Not knowing what that felt like until I was late 30s, early 40s. Like again, I'm 41. Like I'm just now feeling like I'm experiencing like my pops, you know. And it's better late than never, obviously, And my pops is 70, My pops is has more time behind him than he does in front of him. So for me, it's like now it's like just making the best of like the relationship that we have now and like making sure that I put forth effort because I want my children to also see that. Like, I don't want my children to see any kind of tension between me and my pops or not see me be vulnerable with my pops. And even though I can tell my pops is in his ways, I still reach out to my pops. I still like when I go visit, man, when I go back south, like I hug my pops, like, and I know even for him, that's probably still such a new space because that was never our way growing up, was hugging him, right? So that's a new terrain, but it's taught me even now just like not letting up on the affection that I show my kids because then you realize when your children are older, man, the shit that hits them when they're older can affect the relationship, right? Like when I turned 19, everything hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me. I don't have an emotional connection with my pops. And I had a breakdown because that really affected me. Like, damn, like I'm not close with this man. I can call my house and talk to my mom and just say hi to my pops and I'm cool. But there was never a deep like, how was your day, pops? Or how was my day? It was never any of that. It was always with my mom. So that's a that's kind of a an ongoing lesson. It's like a reminder, just like damn, like I really got to make sure that I really turn up for my kids and make sure that they know what affection feels like. Because when they're 19 and 20 like me, I don't want them having that kind of breakdown. I would rather my kids approach me at 19 and 20 and have other questions that I can sit and be like, okay, you a man now, man to man, here's what happened, right? But nothing about how I felt about them, never making them feel like I don't care, I don't love them. That's not a feeling I want my kids to have.
Yeah.
He like that shit hit me like a ton of bricks.
I was watching the time too. I was like, I didn't go another 10 minutes, but
It's my Kanye rant for the night, y'all.
huh?
I, I said that's my Kanye rant for the night.
Yeah, but nah, man, it's luckily for myself, I didn't have that type of relationship with my dad. Like he was actually very like loving and caring. Of course, there was the other side to it. So we turned out a lot alike, but he he was very in tune with his emotions, like even coming from the hood. So that's what helped me being in tune with my emotions. But I mainly displayed anger and just just different type of emotion. So, um, but he was very, how's your day going? Talk to me. Like, let's like really get deep. How you feeling? What's going on? Just with everything I went through in my life, all the loss and stuff that I dealt with, I just withdrew more. But he tried. And even as I got older, I just learned how to mask a lot better and just stuff really deep down. So it's like the reason I was able to learn how to vent and say what's on my mind is because I would stuff down, and I thought I was good. For a long time, I was good. And he would keep telling me like, "Hey, you gotta go to therapy. You gotta do this," and I'm like, "Real nigga don't need no therapy. Like, I'm good, bro. Like, we straight. Like, shit happens. Like it is what it is." And I kept doing that, and then eventually, like even when we met, like I would talk more and share things, but it was like I still wasn't doing therapy. I was like, all right, I talk to my guys, I talk to myself. That's good enough. Like I understand what's going on. I'm pretty self aware, which I've always been like more self aware. But I mean, shit. Eventually, the top came off. It was just too much to stuff down. When they both got sick, so that's when everything started to come up and it was hard to just self-regulate. So I started just dealing with different stuff, panic attacks, all kind of stuff like that. And then eventually I was like, all right, I'll do the therapy thing. I'll try it out. And then I let them know like, hey man, um, I'm doing therapy, getting the help that you said get. And a week later he passed away. So I felt like he was waiting for me to get the help and make sure I was good. Because for me, I I'm not the oldest. I'm in the middle. Out of my little brother and sister that my mom and dad did have together, I am the oldest, but we don't. I don't operate like that. Like all my siblings are my siblings. I don't like, oh, it's my half sister, half brother, whatever. Like we're all siblings. We all basically grew up together. We all love each other. We all still talk. So um, I've always been more of a rock for them anyway. So it's like even though I'm in the middle, I'm more so towards the top end. And the way I carry myself, the way I handle things, and like just always been there for people, I'm at like more at the top. So for him, it was making sure I was good because I was gonna have to make sure everybody else was good. And I told him, and yeah, he was gone a week later. Man, it was pretty crazy, but took me a while of deconstructing everything and rebuilding myself back up to um, just understand it better now and understand life. And like even now it's like I get it now. I thought I got it, but now it's more so like, all right, like let's really talk, let's break it down, let's think. And I still operate somewhat the same where it's like, shit just gotta happen, you gotta make shit happen. But now it's like feel it, understand it, what's going on. All right, now let's make the plan. Instead of stuffing it down and like let's make a plan, get it done. No, feel the emotions, go through it, and I try to tell my guys to do the same. And it seems like you learned that over the last few years.
Rest in peace to your pops, man. That's a
Yeah, rest in
pain I
peace to
don't
pops.
know. Like, despite my issues or the issues I assumed I had with my pops, but after therapy and really kind of learning, man, he was still doing his best, bro. Like my pops just retired a couple years ago. Like my pops got a crazy work ethic, bro. So like, I know I inherited
Congrats to
things
pops,
from
man.
him. Yeah, man. So I know I'm at a point now with my relationship with him, knowing like, damn, like I don't really know if I can handle losing him right now because I kind of feel like we're finally starting to really discover like our father son relationship, right? When I go back
Making
to
up for lost
visit,
time.
yeah, yeah, bro. Like when I go visit, that's some of the best times, bro. Like when I spend time with my pops, man, like yeah, I wish I could brag and say like Pops came to football games, Pops came to ROTC competitions and things like that. I'm not privileged to say that, but I can absolutely say at 41, like, my Pops is there. Like my Pops loves his grandkids, right? Like I'm watching when he's around my kids, when I can get my kids there, like I see how he is around them and I can see that kind of youthfulness, like that little youthful smile come back into him and he lights up. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely know I'm not in a mind state right now where I'm ready to lose either of my parents. Because again, especially pops, because I really feel like I'm starting to really develop that real father son bond where it's like I really want to know how my pops is doing, right? And I got my mom's mom who's dealing with stuff right now too, and my mom has her own health issues, you know what I'm saying? And it's like talking with my pops and seeing how strong he's showing up for him. It's like, damn, like I gotta be strong for this man right now, because like this man been working his whole life, finally got to retire, and now he's still showing up in so many other avenues. And it's like, damn, like the least I could do is understand what we didn't get, but I can also be thankful that I'm still breathing and he's still breathing, where we can at least appreciate what's in the now. And that to me matters more now, is like what's in the now. So with that, that leads me to my next question that I want to ask you. Do you think do you think as men, as black men specifically, do you think that like our childhood dictates how we become men and go into the world and treat people once we're in relationships? Do you feel that those upbringings play a major role, or do you think that just once we know we're a man, we just start making reckless choices?
No, it definitely plays a major role. Like your relationship with your father, your relationship with your mother, family members, and even like as a black man, the relationship with society. It all plays in, and I mean, you know how it is, man. Growing up as a black dude, even what shit, when you hit like 11, 12, it's yo, you get some. Oh, you ain't getting none. Oh. So it's like you're not even getting a chance to still be a child, bro. Like
Yeah.
when you look at it, bro, like 12, 13, 14, like even up to like 18 and shit, you still a kid, bro. Like I even look at kids like 20, 21, 22. I'm like, bro, you a kid, man. Like some people, yes, you get more responsibility, but it's like we stop getting to be a child so young. Even outside of, oh, did you get some? It's the police looking at you a certain way, people in the neighborhood looking at you a certain way. So it's like black boys don't get to be boys. They don't get to be kids. You look at that as like a man. You look at this danger. Like with me, I was like over 6 feet by like 13. So they seeing a tall ass lanky kid. Well, men, but when you look, like I see kids and I'm like, oh, that dude's a kid. Like he's not a man. So I'm walking through the hood. Yeah, I'm tall, but you terrorizing me like I'm an adult. Or it's like, bro, you can tell. Like he looks young, bro. But
Yeah.
it all plays a part, man.
Do you think that, and I want to make sure I'm phrasing the question right, do you think that us as being young black men back in the times when we grew up, do you think that us being overly exposed to like hyper-sexualization through like things like BET Uncut, HBO, all these things, guys, you already know what I'm getting at.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
right? Allegedly. But do you think those things played a role or plays a role in when we grow up and become men, that those having access to so much sexualized imagery at such a young age, do you feel like that also dictates how we behave in our relationships?
I mean, yeah, dude, it puts unreal expectations on the relationships, on sex. And then for a lot of men or black men and men in general, like they don't see women as women. They see them as like, they sexualize them. Someone to, oh, I'm gonna just get my stuff off or whatever. But it's like when you start to grow as a man and become more mature, you understand the emotional side and like the delicate. Yeah, they can be tougher than you. Like I like mine pretty tough, but it's
Right.
like you gotta treat them a certain way. They're expecting different things, but you watching BT Uncut and they swiping credit cards to the button. You're like, all right, grandma, just swipe the credit card. Like what you talking about? Like I did the thing. You like, you don't know how to treat them. You don't know how to take care of them, to love them. And then especially like for me, I had a difficult relationship with my mom, so that kind of played a part in that stuff. You didn't have your dad there to really teach you these things, you know. So we didn't have no one to teach us like, hey, this is how you care for a woman, this is how you take care of them. It's like, hey, make sure you wrapping up, you be smart, like, you know, don't be trusting nobody. And even with that, it's like the way we have to come up. It's like, yo, don't trust nobody. Don't just be out here, whatever. Like, just it's your mom, your family. We got your back. Don't trust nobody. So you're going
Right.
into these relationships, you're sexualizing these women, you're not trusting them, and you can't have a relationship like that, you know?
Yeah, I think that was one of the pivotal points I would say in my like youth where a lot of early mistakes that I made. Growing up and you're in those conversations with the homies and it's like, you hunching, like you asking those weird ass questions, not understanding like what it's doing to your mental, right? Like you're downloading all this information into your brain and you're starting to think that like this is the way of life. Like it's all about, hunching on girls and getting numbers and all these different things, but having such a present dad but not present in a way, if that makes sense. Like my pops was so present, like he worked his ass off. My pops worked, right? That man provided. He knew how to provide, but he missed the dunk on a lot of the emotional moments. I really feel like I needed him having those real sit down talks and things that I know I'll be privileged enough to do with my own boys. But I think about my early years and how I wish, you know, my pops would have had enough emotion to sit me down as father to son, and it was stuff I wanted to learn from him, not somebody else. I had uncles that I was around that I grew up with who wasn't necessarily, I would say, the best role models when it came to like a relationship, right? So I didn't really have.
I was like, nephew, that's you? That's you, nephew?
Yes, that's pretty much what it was. But I can say this, like, out of my entire life, bro, like I've never seen my pops mistreat my moms, right? Like I watched my pops make her a stay-at-home mom very early on in her years, right? Like my mom, I think at 24 became a homemaker, back when that was the title, like, she was a homemaker, right? So I watched him care for this woman. So there were physical examples I could see with my eyes, right? I could see that my parents were happy. I could see that my dad took care of my mom. I could see that if they ever had a falling out, they didn't do it in front of us. We were either at school, outside playing, or somewhere where they were not, right? And they got through their problems. But what was missing was the physical sit down with father and son. Like, son, sit down, let me talk to you. Where there's no interruptions. It's just me and you. I'm looking at you in the face and I'm saying,
Yeah.
this is what you need to do. Like that's the one piece, that's the one brick on the house that I wish I was fortunate enough to hold. But I do also see how privileged I still am because I can create that brick now with my boys and I can put that brick on that house and bridge that gap, right? And close that generational curse of those pivotal moments where you really feel like you need your dad. Like I see my boys and it's like I want them to see how healthy me and my pop's relationship is now, but I also want my sons to also just focus on me, like focus on your dad and know that like your pops is here. Like despite y'all living with y'all's moms, right? And that don't matter. Pops is available and I'm present. You need me, I'm here. You have your time with me, you have your time with your mom. But when you're with me, we're going to enjoy life, but you're going to get some lessons at the same time. Because I wish when I was at the age that my boys are, well, more so Grayson now because it's so important because, man, he's about to be 10. He's hitting preteen in a few years. It's so important with him, right? And I still got time with Noah. It's really about the do's and don'ts as like a toddler, right? But with Grayson going into his teen years very, very soon, this is that critical kind of like, man, we gotta really sit down as father and son. And son, in this world, yes, you are half Mexican, half black, you've got Native American in your blood. You are a minority to these people. You are a minority. And as a black man, as a mixed man growing up in the America that we're in now, here are the important things that I need you to know. Whether it's your relationship, it's work, it's this. Just showing up for my boys in the way that I wish I had, so that when they're older, they can track back like, nah, I remember my pop said this shit to me as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, those lessons started young, and I feel like that's so important. And I know we're not the only two black fathers, right, that are going through things like this where we're kind of navigating these really kind of, treacherous waters of not just showing up as black men for ourselves, but showing up as fathers, as sons, as brothers, as friends. Like, it's a lot of black men out there who don't have outlets, right? Like, it's a lot of black men who are not as fortunate as you and I are to have friends like each other, right? To have the type of group that we have where we know, push come to shove, man, like, if I need y'all, I know y'all are there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I took my hiatus, and when you and I reconnected, it was like we never missed a fucking beat, right? I know it's a lot of black men who don't have that privilege, right? And that's one of the bigger reasons why this podcast is going to exist, is providing that safe space for black men to relate to what they're hearing, but also we'll get to a point where, we start accepting those voicemails and those DMs, and kind of bridging that gap, so black men can just know that they have a space, that these two black guys hear them and we see them.
Nah, man, that's for real. Yeah, like, it's time to be that space. So, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, put out the topics y'all want. We'll go over it. We'll give our input, and just gotta keep going, keep talking, and each one reach one, man. Like, listen to somebody, man. Like, talk to somebody. That's like the main thing too. You just gotta start talking. You gotta start sharing. It's all right to be vulnerable. Like, I know a lot of times you feel like you can't trust people, and sometimes you can't, right? But if you're just balling everything up and you're trying to make it that way, it's hard, especially like depending on where you're at. But as a black man, bro, like, society's against you. You got all these different like obstacles you got to face, and then you got to provide for your family, take care of business, be tough, be the rock, be this, and it gets heavy, man. It weighs on you. Listen to other people's problems and seeing what's on the news and what's happening to people in our communities. It's tough. So it's like, you just balling all this up. Eventually, you're gonna hit a point where it's gonna come up, or you're gonna make a mistake, or something like that. So you got to start talking about it and getting it out there, man. You can't just carry all that energy, that negative energy, and all that grief and trauma and those things, man. So we'll be here for that.
Jay, I want to say, before we end this, kind of, as we said, like, we gonna call it a trial run, because we definitely gonna spin the block, and with with one of these 3-packs that we dropping for the summer launch, we definitely gonna title one of these joints Mr. Be Nasty Part 1 and 2. We gonna get back into that conversation. We gotta go into
part
details,
1 and 2,
because I got some shit I gotta talk about. I got some shit I gotta get off my chest, bro.
Gotta be vindicated.
Listen, y'all. Like, we got so much that's ahead of us. We hope that this podcast reaches everybody that it needs to reach. We hope that as we progress with this podcast, that we create content that you guys enjoy, and that you find that this is a space that you can relate to. You can turn this podcast on while you're driving, walking, running, in the gym, just chilling. This is gonna be something beautiful that we're pushing to create for you guys. And again, Jay, like I said, bro, I can't, words can't describe like the value I feel for our friendship. I feel like you and I, and we'll tap into the whole Aquarian, twin, like how you and I vibe out, bro. Like we'll have our episodes where we can get into that a little deeper and people can understand. Like we're probably like one and the same person. Like half the shit I'm thinking you already done either done or thinking it too, and vice versa. So,
Allegedly.
Allegedly, and we gonna keep throwing that word out there. Everything is allegedly. But I wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you, bro. Like we have to get into a space where as black men, bro, like we have to break these barriers of not giving our friends their fucking flowers, bro. Like I have to tell you so much, like the value that I have for this friendship. Like I appreciate you for welcoming me back into the friendship after me taking that hiatus to really go through some more shit, which I felt was God's intention. Like there was some things I had to mine through how everything kind of happened. I feel like it happened for a reason. I always feel that there's a reason to God's chaos, right? Like he's painting a picture, right? And sometimes the ink gets low, and instead of feeling it immediately, he walks away, right? And I feel like with the circumstances, like how we kind of like just went off and did our own thing. There was never any love lost. There was never any real bad blood or tension between us. It was just two niggas on some Aquarius shit. Just ego, but it's like that's still my man's. Like, and I know if I text him today, if it was real life, real shit, I know if I need him, I know he gonna be there, right? I want to thank you just
Yep.
for the friendship, bro, because it's rare, homie. It's really rare where you got somebody or you got a group of people and it's like, and shout out to our boy Danny, man. Like Danny, a real one. And he's getting married soon too. So shout out to Danny. It's rare where you have people like homies, friends that you ain't gotta question shit, bro. You don't have to question nothing. Like, I know behind my back, in front of me, left, right, y'all will never let anybody disrespect me, talk down on me. Y'all never disrespected me, talk down on me, and vice versa. Like, there was never any ill speaking, right? And I have to tell you, like, bro, like, I really value the friendship, bro. And I'm honored that it's you who I really kind of get to enjoy this podcast space with, and we get to really create something that we know has been in talks for a long time, and we're finally seeing it come to fruition. It's a slow build, but we know where we're trying to go with it. So, bro, I just want to say thank you.
Nah, man, I appreciate that, man. You about to make me tear up episode one, bro. We gotta wait a little bit, man. Getting emotional, venting, right? Nah, but I appreciate you as well, man. Like, we have to take the hiatus, come apart a little bit, work on ourselves, and like just become better people, just more emotionally intelligent, more mature, and we came back at the right time. You just finished LA Film School. I just finished my bachelor's at CSUN, so it's like we was working, we was grinding, becoming better men, doing what we got to do, accomplishing goals, trying to be there for our children, and trying to be better in the relationships we were in, and now we back, man. Like no, like we ain't missed a step. So this has been talked about for a long time. I'm glad we're finally getting started. We'll get better and better, and we're gonna get the people what they've been waiting for.
Yeah, so listen, we're going to be posting a lot more stuff on our social media, a lot more information to come. Just keep listening. Eventually, keep watching. We're going to make sure all this stuff starts to get uploaded to YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and all these other spaces. But until that time, we want to say thank you guys for listening to us vent and rant. Got into some emotional shit, got into some jokes, and trust me, that's just the beginning. Like, we are just getting started. There's so much funny shit ahead, so much emotional shit ahead. We're gonna get into a lot of topics, and I just hope that you guys rock with us. You guys appreciate the content, and there will be more to come. So this is me signing off. My name is Jaron. I go by Jay. This is my boy JayRed. This is Black Men Don't Vent. We don't vent. Y'all don't think we vent?
We don't.
We don't.
Black men don't vent, huh?
Do we?
Hmm.
Do we actually vent? We'll find out. Y'all take care of yourselves, man. Peace.
Till next time. Peace.